At least okay. Today is a Monday. And I still don't have a thing for this yet. I think I know what I'm doing with it though. So that makes me feel a little bit better. I've been cleaning my office slowly but surely. It's actually kind of bad right now. Um, so you guys don't get to see that. You don't need to see that. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Sorry, I'm like crashing out. It's okay. But let's see. Let's see. Guys, look, my hair is the done did. I did it. Woo woo. I love it. Yay. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just have to do my hair. You know? And I'm like, damn, that's what it looks like. Who knew? Mm! I also have sweethearts. Like the original, like big ones. And they have words on them. I remember when I was a kid, they had like the really big ones. At least they seemed really big when I was young. They were a lot bigger than this. Like triple the size. And when I'm stressed, I ate a lot of candy. This one, oh my god, this one's funny. They're so cute. Look, they have sayings on them. On this side it says head. I don't know if you can see that. Oh my god. Oh my god, what the fuck? Maybe you can kind of see it. On this side it says head. There you go. Kind of see it. And then on this side it says heart. Think with your head or your heart. Heart, baby. God, think with your heart. Don't fall through with the coin toss, guys. I'm kidding. It's not that bad luck. Like some people think it's really bad luck and you shouldn't do it. And there's some religious texts that really say that you shouldn't follow the guidance of coins or whatever. Oh man. Well, that felt really good. I didn't work out all weekend. I had to take like a little break. And then today I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna work out or not. But I did. I did. And it made me feel better. But this is so stupid. I feel like it's kind of funny though. If I don't work out for a bit and I have to like push myself to work out, I always like shed like a tear or two. And then I feel better after it. So I'm just like, oh yay. I got the dopamine. Good. Mission accomplished. Now my arms are tired. So good. I love sweethearts. I ran out of my normal candy. I probably shouldn't have candy every day though. Oh, it smells so good. I'm just gonna stretch a bit. Oh, I got a new candle too. I really like candles. I like burning things. Just makes me happy to have fire around me. I like it. It cleanses my soul. There's just something about it. I've also been streaming later, and that's because there's been lots going on. We'll see how it goes. Hmm. That's good. I've been diving into things too fast. I always gotta like take it slow. I usually just want to get started. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to stream. I'm ready to go. And then I realize that like once I start, I really should have like the preview thing that other people do. I thought it was cheesy, but now I get it. It's like you can start the thing, everybody can sit there and kind of wait for you and talk to one another, and then you show up, and everyone else gets to hang out. And I feel like that's not a bad thing. For a while, thought it was like a little cheesy. Oh, I bit my tongue, but now it's okay. You know? I'm not bleeding. Okay, I'm good. Ah, fuck. Oh, I forgot to make myself smell good today. Today, I'm going to wear the Wedding Silk Santello by Kaoli. Because it was the closest thing to me. I usually don't wear it alone. And I feel like it's probably good to wear by myself sometimes. And you're technically not supposed to do that, but do it anyways. And it's very fragrant. I can't spray a lot of it. I usually do like my hair, my neck, and my pulse points. Hi, George. How are you? I hope you are good. There's a lot of stuff that was going on today. I think, oh yeah. I think, yesterday or earlier. How are you, George? You're doing good? Okay, that is good. Good, good, good. Yeah, I forgot to post about this. Oh, I guess we could watch this today. Oh my god. Trump had an executive order that he signed today. And it was about Alaska. I didn't watch it earlier. Usually I do try to keep up as much as I can, but today I didn't. I was in the shower and doing other stuff. You're doing good. That's good. That makes me happy. I hope you're having a... Yeah, you watched the Alaska one. We can watch it today on stream, maybe. We've never, like, watched an Oval Office thing that he's done. Mainly because it, like, stresses me out. But I have it pulled up. I was like... I watched the presser with Caroline Levitt or whatever, and I just got really annoyed. So I decided to take a break today. Isn't it for like Alaska and drilling? It's 40 minutes long, yo. So long. He never stops talking sometimes. Unless someone tells him to shut up, which no one really does. I watched it till the press starts asking questions. Then I turned it off. Press always asks stupid questions. That's like the most important part. Like everything he says, up until the press starts talking, I'm just like, okay, you're being repetitive. There's nothing new I'm learning here. And the press usually asks him questions about like the process of how he's doing things. So I view it to be the most important part because it's harder to do propaganda stuff when people ask you questions. That's my favorite part. That's why I always watch the press briefings and that sort of thing. It's always about the shutdown. Not always. Today in Levitt's thing, they were talking a lot about Gaza and Israel, and I'm pretty sure in this one they probably mentioned it a couple of times at the very least. I got this candle from Walmart because I like this. Yeah. There's been lots of meetings about the shutdown too. I think the aircraft like towers or whatever, the ones who tell people like what to do and how to land their planes and stuff, they're gonna run out of funding by Friday. So not a good time to travel. That is not the vibe right now. I do not recommend. I always like to read them. Hmm? George says, are you going to drill a hole in that candle jar for your plants? Maybe. I think I might use this as a vase for flowers. But this actually might be a really good one. If it's solid glass, where like if I were to scrub it, the color wouldn't come off, like it's not painted, then I probably will keep it. But I think it is solid glass. That's why I got it. Because sometimes they'll have candles where they just paint the exterior that color. And now that I look at it, I think it is painted. So if it is painted, then yeah, it looks painted. Yeah. But because of that, I'm just going to use it for a vase. But I have some other candle things that I'm going to drill into. I have 1, 2, 3, I think. And then I think I'm going to drill into this little guy too. I put a little hole here on the side and have like a little hanging planter like that. This little guy. But I kind of feel like this would make it hard. But I think it'd be cute. Just like a little cactus or something in here. Or I might just leave it. I probably will, honestly. And then drill a hole in some other stuff. I have lots of potential things, though. I could do that, too. I don't know if any of them are here or easily accessible. We shall see. We shall see. I got the email this morning. Your drill bits will be there tomorrow. Ooh, exciting. Okay, cool. That's good timing, too, because I was going to go to the post office. I was hoping to. Probably in the morning. I have to get up early for work. Oh, but anyways, I got 2 new candles today. Because they're on sale. And this is like my thing. My little dopamine hit, you know? Bixby's been a little bit of a hoe today. Hi, princess. Do you want up on my lap? Come here, baby. Come here. All she wants is play. But yeah, I just saw the presser with Caroline. And I was just like, dang. Wonder if she's like good. She's gotten like a lot of filler in her chin. There's nothing wrong with it. Or there's like something going on. She just seemed like really off. Like not really like as sassy or as witty. The filler thing is just something that I noticed because I was like watching. And I was like, oh my gosh, did she like get hit in the face or something? I was like, oh yeah, I forget people get filler. I don't know. Sorry, not to be rude. I'm not judging. There's nothing wrong with getting filler or whatever. That would be very hypocritical for me to say. But I don't know. She was just really like not as sassy as she normally is. Which at least makes it a little bit interesting. You know? So we'll see. I think Trump and a lot of people in the White House are getting like worn down a bit. Because every time I look at the stuff that they say or what they're doing or whatever, he doesn't really seem like as energized. Well, it seems like a lot of stuff really isn't going his way, which is good. It's good. Because, you know, there's only so much control that he has. Yeah. Kind of weird. They've been going full bore since first day in office. Yeah, they have. But a lot of it hasn't been going through. Like, which is good. people are basically saying like, hey, you can't do that shit. Like that should be illegal. Like what you're doing is wrong, which is good. Having someone tell you like, hey, no, you can't do this thing is difficult at times, but it's usually like a very necessary thing. So I'm just like, eh, nah. It's like a good test of the limitations of office, you know? Like what can the executive branch do and not do, and how far can they take it with the majority in Congress and the judicial branch. Like how far can they take it? What can they do with it? That's kind of crazy to me. But on one hand, I'm really happy that, you know, the test is happening. So then you can see how much power can be abused. But on the other hand, it really sucks because no one really knows how far they can take it because it's never been done like this before. And that's the hard part. Hi, Ollie. You stinky butt. Yeah. He wants more pets. Hi, puppy. Andrew had to get a new car part. He was picking me up from a show on I think it was Saturday or whatever. And did you get the new car part? The auto body. He had to get some car parts.
Hi, Chit.
Hi. Hi. We're talking about Trump and the limitations of the executive branch. And it stresses me out. George says hi, Andrew.
Hi, George.
He said hi. And then I was walking away. Are you taking a nap?
No, I'm putting on pants.
Oh, are you gonna go work on the car?
No.
No?
I just want to be warm.
Oh, okay. Okay, bye. Anyways, it's been kind of interesting to see, like, oh, what's gonna happen. I know I'm being repetitive about it, but I'm kind of thinking too. I wonder if they're gonna try to make more changes, you know? Because Trump, he's tried to do a lot, but not everything has been able to go through. And is getting a lot of flashback for a lot of stuff he's doing, but a lot of people are not enforcing the restrictions of what he's trying to do. So technically, he shouldn't really be able to send troops to. Well, he can in some aspects, but he's trying to test the limitations of how much he can police different cities, which is really stressful, especially when they don't consent to it. So, like Chicago has been getting more and more troops and stuff like that going in to assist ICE, and Chicago is not happy about that. Neither is like Illinois as a whole. But how do I say it? Trump is just kind of like trying to see how far he can take it. And right now, Chicago has another lawsuit, or I think it might be the same one that we mentioned before, up against Trump, and they're really trying to push hard for it. I think there's some things that are just gonna have to make its way to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court is not super in favor of Trump or his allies like Maxwell, you know, where her case was rejected by the Supreme Court. Hi, Bixby. Oh, come here. I heard her. Daria says, OMG, Posey. Trump's giving Ukraine bombers. It's time to dig bunkers. Bruh. I was watching. There's this one girl on TikTok. She's making a castle or whatever, and then she started digging underneath her house. And there's a dude in the UK who's doing something similar, but now he's making like a garage that goes like up and down. But he's a YouTuber, and she just kind of does random TikTok content. She's awesome. Like, she is really cool. I don't remember her name. Let me see if I can find it. She dresses like a trad wife, though. Who is doing tunnel under house? She's from North Virginia, and people call her Tunnel Girl, and she's awesome. She's so funny. Like, I fucking love her. Inner City is so mad at her too. They were like, no, you can't do it, you can't do it. But she's doing it, and she finally got permissions to do it. But in the process of her getting that permission to do it, she started going to a quarry above ground and then hand cutting, like, with chisels and everything, and getting the I don't know, have you guys had to split stone before? So you take like these little like stakes basically, and they're huge metal stakes, like railroad tie looking things, like nails almost, and you put them in the rock in like a line, and then you slowly just hit it, and it splits it naturally. And that's what she's been doing. She's been making tiny little ones, and then yeah, and now she's building a castle. Daria says, that's your response to World War III. Check out Tunnel Girl on TikTok. Well, I mean, you were talking about people, you talked about bunkers, and I was like, well, that's like the fastest way anyone could really build one on a budget. And she has like years of engineering experience and stuff like that, so if you want to do it, she's posted everything online, and she does almost all of it by hand. She has jackhammers, though. Yeah, man, I'm making friends with the moles. I'll be their king in our new world. I feel like you like to fearmonger a lot. But that's okay, Darius. I respect your fear. I'm gonna be the Lord of the Burrows. It'll be like a Hollow Knight. These are so good. Oh my god. I can't eat all of them. There's like 9 servings in this. You think it's fear mongering? A little bit. Darius says US President Donald Trump announces from the Oval Office that he's made a decision to provide MGN 109 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles, which have a range of between 5,000 to 150,000 miles to Ukraine, but states that he still has some questions about how they will be used and what Russian targets will be struck by the Ukrainian armed forces. Yeah, a little bit. I think that I could be wrong about it, but I personally believe that with all the stuff happening in Ukraine, it's basically like a giant proxy war. He's trying to pressure Russia to end stuff, and this is just one of the many processes. And I bet when he was talking to Putin, he was probably like, well, if you don't want to have peace, then I'm gonna help end things or whatever. And it just didn't look super great for them. And I think he's trying to recover PR-wise, which is crazy, but whatever. Daria says Z Unit, or whatever the Ukrainian president is called, is for Putin's palace in the Black Sea. We shall see. We shall see. I think that they wouldn't really do that, though. It just doesn't make sense for them to do it. The only way for Russia to actually go down would be for the Russian people to turn against their democracy, or not democracy, but their governance. And that would pretty much only happen when Putin dies and there's a power vacuum for who would be next in office. Because there's no documentation for who would follow through. If they killed Putin, I don't think that they would. I just don't see it happening. I think he's probably going to die of his own people attacking him, or just old age. Like, something's going to happen. He's going to get like a fucking heart attack. I think it's going to be it's probably not going to be some stupid shit because it'll be stressful, but I think it's probably going to be his body giving out on him over anything else. Barry says last guy that tried to do a coup was the Wagner moron that coincidentally died in a plane crash in Belarus. Yeah. But I think it's important to remember that right now it's being utilized as a proxy war. Like everyone against Russia. Russia is getting reinforcements from other countries and stuff like that. And yes, it's been a long time since we've had a proxy war between like a very large like nation that has a lot more power and stuff like that and other nations, but that's pretty much what it is. And that's not me trying to reduce it to nothingness because I understand how important it is. And I know refugees from Ukraine. So it's not like I don't understand the impact that it's had. It's just what Trump is doing isn't escalating it as much as you think it is. And that's not me trying to be an asshole. It's just kind of how it is. It is the first time that the United States has been like directly helping since when the war originally started. But I think what would change everything is if we were to send actual troops there. That would be a landmark move. Like, that would change everything. Daria says the Russians men are taking the piss. They're messing about with drones in the Baltic states and Poland. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Boom's not going to last longer than, like, probably 8 or so years, honestly. It'll probably be less than that, maybe 4, but he doesn't have that long left. Daria says, is Afghanistan the last real proxy war between the United States and Russia / USSR? I wouldn't say so. I would say it was more of a scapegoat to keep the American war machine going. The one where we armed the Taliban, not Blair and Bush's. Like long ago? I wouldn't say that's the last, like, proxy war that we had. I think there was another one before that. Because I don't know, I guess you could consider that a proxy war, but I would say the last, like, real, like, large-scale proxy war where the United States, like, got involved and it was a huge fucking deal would probably be, like, in, maybe not Africa. Maybe it was Afghanistan. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure on that one. I'm still brushing up on war stuff. I'm, like, slowly making my way through history with America's war history. I do need to do more digging on that one. But yeah. I guess that you might be right. Yeah. Interesting. There's obviously been low-scale ones like in Africa, yeah. But in terms of fighting communism ideologies, I think it must be right. Well, I mean, we did get involved in like a lot of wars, like Rwanda and that sort of thing. That was the 90s, I believe. And that was a very large proxy war. It was like Vietnam and Korea Part 3. Kind of, yeah. Like, yeah. I think the Rwandan Civil War was low-key like a proxy war, but I don't know if like the United States got really involved in that one. I know French did. France did. Let's see. No, the French really got involved in that. I think we sold them some stuff and that was about it. But France was mainly involved in that. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to do more digging. George says the president of Finland is coming to meet Trump this week. Yep, I think it's on either Tuesday or Thursday. They just signed an agreement to share 15 of their military bases with the U.S. Yeah. because of Russia. We'll have to see how that goes, though. Odari says, I'm sure in 2006/7, U.S. and Russia were pissing about with Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. Mr. Finland, yeah. I don't know. I'm not super, like, anything past, like, I would have to say, I don't know. A lot of the minor sort of conflicts, like where we didn't send a shit ton of troops to get involved, I'm not as educated about. Like where we just were like supplying people. Because America has a long history. Well, not even a super long history. Just like within the past 100 years or so, America has given resources and arms underneath even Congress's nose to countries that they weren't supposed to like have, that sort of thing. I think like Iran got some stuff from America and that was a huge scandal with Reagan or whatever, and Reagan wasn't supposed to give it to him, but he still like signed approval to, it was either like Iran or Iran or some other country. But I think they used the funds for selling things to Iran for Contra, and that was a big scandal that happened. But I don't know. There's lots of times where we've been giving people arms and resources where we weren't supposed to, and then we only really find out later, like usually a couple decades later. So we really don't know. Like the public does not learn a lot about what's happening, like financially and what our government does until after everything's kind of quote unquote resolved. Unless someone's like a whistleblower. Dara says, yeah, there's loads of skirmishes in Africa between 1994 and 2016, etc., where various PMC were involved. Yeah. Yeah. Dara says, a lot of it used to go through Israel. I'm not sure if that's still the case. I don't think so. Not as much. Because Israel is like, I'd have to say they kind of don't have as much leverage as they used to. People aren't turning a blind eye to Israel when they're having stuff go through their area. Daria shows Afghanistan went through Israel. Yeah. We definitely did. You're not wrong there. Mm. Same with Iraq. Lots of stuff in Africa too. Especially like Eastern Africa would go through Israel. It's just I don't know, Israel just really isn't that, people all, they're basically under a microscope right now. Like everyone's paying attention. Anything that goes to Israel, people are like locked in on. People are monitoring their airspace, they're monitoring the boats, like anything that goes past their like naval blockade or their airspace, people are like super fucking locked in on. And they want to know exactly where it's going and like how it's going through. Whereas about, I don't know, even like 10 or so fucking years ago, people weren't even doing that. I want to say that started up more in like the late 2010s, where people started paying more attention to what was happening through Israel. But in the 90s, people paid a lot more attention too, because that's when they were threatening like nuclear stuff a lot more and whatever. Darius says, one of the reasons we tried to colonize Uganda with Jews and Indians, we wanted a power base there. Yeah, that's true. Very true. But Israel is seen as more strategic. Hmm. I think that's because of Egypt's canal. The Suez Canal. Because that dictates like all the stuff that goes into from the Mediterranean into the you know, I think it's the Red Sea. Oh, it's the Gulf. Never mind. What do they call it? No, it is the Red Sea. It's the Gulf of Suez, and then the Red Sea. Geography is getting better, guys. Daria says, the Egyptians used to play ball over Suez in those times. That's basically how we lost our empire. Yeah, yeah. The Suez Canal is really strategic. A lot of, I think it was the 6 Day War or whatever, that had a lot to do with the canal. And lots of the troops that went there. You know, it's just been going on for a really long time. But yeah, you're right. The Suez Canal is super fucking important. And having Israel there is very strategic because the entire idea was to have Israel take over the region of the Suez Canal. And I think a lot of people don't really pay attention to that because there's a lot of strategic stuff that happened to try to get that to occur. And a big reason why Egypt has so much like Western influence and Western pressures is because of the canal. If the canal did not exist, then it would probably not be as like Western as it is. Mm. Darius says, I'm not sure that was the idea at the start, as we bought out the Egyptian share of the canal and co-owned it with the French. That is true. But I'm saying that like long-standing stuff, you know, it certainly turned into that. Yeah, yeah. It's a really interesting thing. There was lots of conflict around it too. Hi, Bixby. Because we had Cyprus where we could bomb the shit out of everyone. Mm-hmm. That is true. There was a. I still need to learn more about like Egyptian history, but it's one of the oldest nations that exists. I think the oldest nation to ever exist is the one that's in Italy, like that really small one, like San Martina, something like that. I don't remember its actual name. I think after that you have is it China? It might be China. And then after that you have Egypt. I think Egypt is third. Yeah, San Marino. And Egypt is like, oh, it's Iran. Yeah, you're right, you're right, you're right. And then I'm pretty sure Egypt is third. They're either third or fourth. Yeah. And I know China's up there too in the top five. Yeah. Can't remember the order of it all. But Japan surely. I wouldn't say Japan. I think China's older than Japan. But they were called I think they were called like it was like a different empire. But I don't think it's Japan. Japan was conquered a couple of times. There was a lot of war between like mainland and Japan. Let's see. Mm, yes, Japan is older in some aspects. So China's recorded civilization is significantly older than Japan's. China is 3,000 years older than Japan. Do you know how many countries the UK has not invaded? I found out today. No, tell me. Tell me, I'm always curious. Every time you're here, we always talk about random stuff. It's so easy to get me like off topic. Guess. I want to say 26. Oh my god, you can hear me chewing on it. There's 195 countries and you're guessing 26? Yeah. Only because I have no idea, and that's how old I am. I'm not even joking with you. That was my deduction. I was like, well, I'm 26, so that's a number. It's 22. Brexit means Brexit. Hmm. I was close. I figured it'd be in the 20s, though. So I was like, well, 26. But anyways, I gotta show you my little big spunk. She says hello. Oh, she says hi, guys. You always remind me that my teeth aren't as white as I think they are. That's okay. She's like a ghost, Miss Albino. Dara says, yeah, I thought it would be in the 40s because it couldn't be more than 150. I don't know. I'm not surprised. You guys have tried to invade lots of things, Invaded 173, yeah. I was like, well, because there was the saying, the sun never sets on the British Empire or whatever. So it's like that for a reason. But a lot of the times where they tried to conquer people or invade, it didn't work because they just didn't have, it doesn't mean that they won everyone. It just means the ones that they tried, and they just kept trying. Oh, what do you mean, yes it did? What do you mean, yes it did? Explain. Explain, explain. Please explain. Oh, undefeated? Doubt. Sometimes we had to withdraw for tactical reasons. Yeah, undefeated. Yes, there's the saying, the sun never sets. They're never defeated. Well, yeah, like your empire still existed. I need to stop eating this candy. It's so good. God, I have such a fucking candy problem. I have such a sweet tooth, right, Big Sweet? I can't help it. Okay, now she's eating her toe beans. But never defeated. Ugh. And now we can't deal with hot weather. Yeah, you guys fucking suck with the heat. It's kind of funny. And man, I just want to live someplace warm so bad. If I live someplace that's cooler, I have to have like a giant atrium. It's just something I need. You are always like warmongering in here though. It's low-key kind of wild. Do you want to learn about Trump and signing the executive order in the office or whatever? George says, I see the French need another prime minister. That's like the third this year. Yeah, France has been having a lot of upheaval, but most of like Southern Europe has, honestly, been really struggling. Italy and Spain and France have been having mass protests for lots of different reasons. A lot of it has to do with the support of Israel and how they're super pissed about it. But France has been supporting Israel for a very fucking long time. Like, France is the reason why Israel has nukes, and lots of people don't talk about that. Yeah, the French are always revolting. Their government's low-key, like, designed for that, though. There's not a way for them to have a super solid, like, anytime people are like, hey, I don't want this anymore, they can easily overturn it. And that's by design. Darius says it's like how dogs used to be wolf-like alpha monsters, but if I change my dog's biscuits, it shits all over my kitchen. Yeah? Isn't your government based on theirs? Yes and no. So, technically, the French Revolution came after uh, the American Revolution, but they kind of went hand in hand. And lots of aspects of France's government has to do with a lot of like older things too. Same with America. So ideas but not practice. Yeah. Yeah, some concepts. So America was basically the beta, and then France was like, okay, well, we're going to modify it this way to be more for our country and what would do best for us. So yes and no. I would say that France has more checks and balances in some aspects than America. America is pretty, there's a lot more unsaid kind of rules and regulations that we have that we just use in practice, but technically aren't really written down in the same way it is in France, because France is constantly like evolving their government a lot more than America is. But this is just like my perspective. I know there's probably a lot of things I need to educate myself more on. I know a lot about this because my ex was really obsessed with France and politics. So, yeah, I didn't know. It was like pillow talk, France, the political system. And I just sit there and be like, yeah. I'm kidding, I fight him. But like, oh, goddamn. Flashback from Nam. Did he tell you about the Algerians on the bridge? No. He was more focused on like, he really liked France. And then this was like 2010s, you know? Like late 2010s. So just mainly a lot of stuff that was going on, how people were getting more left-leaning and stuff like that there too, and how they protested. And we talk about like what is the best way to protest, how peaceful should you be, because in France, I think it was a year or so ago, they were trying to protest a lot of agricultural taxes or some restriction on agriculture that really pissed them off. So what they did is they literally took manure and then put it inside of the government buildings, like with tractors and shit like that. Like, yeah, this was January 16th, 2024. There you go. Boop. They massacred loads of them on a bridge in the 50s. They got one of the most unfair societies in Europe. Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of problems happen in France, but they do know how to fucking protest. And I've been saying that forever. And I personally, I'm not going to go on like my high horse and be like, oh, I know so much, because I really don't. I just know about like some stuff. But there's lots of problems with it, honestly. Hi, Bixby. Oh, did you hear that Japan has a new, is it prime minister or leader? I don't know. You become somewhat more educated on Europe recently, which is good to see. Oh no, we're just talking about things I know a bit more about. A lot of the time, we discuss things, and then I'm just like, yeah. And then sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to talk about it, so I'm like, I don't know. And it's like a force of habit because I just because sometimes I get frustrated. I'm like, this conversation is gonna piss me off or it's gonna drain me too much. So I'm just like, I don't know. And I always like to see what you guys have to say too. But yes, I also have been studying up a lot more on Europe too. So you are partially correct. I'm just argumentative today. I apologize. Yeah, but it's a woman and her policies are shit. And she's very conservative, and it low-key stresses Mrs. Japan. Oh, yeah, because we were talking about this before. I've been really interested in Japan's history and stuff like that for a long time. In high school, a ton of my friends were fucking weebs, and we had a Japanese foreign exchange program. So I got to meet people from Japan and learn about like what they did and why they do it, you know. But yeah. Daria says they're a very conservative society, aren't they, though? Not necessarily. So, in some aspects, they are more conservative, but in other aspects, they aren't, if that makes sense. Like, I would say they have a lot of opportunity to become a lot more left-leaning, and there has been a big push for that because of their population decreasing in size. And that's been something that's been discussed for like the past 10, 15 or so years. Because their population is on such a decline, they have to have more immigrants come in. And usually when you have more people from other countries coming in, you either hit like a really big conservative push and then go left leaning, or you start going left, like more left gradually. So I think after this, they're probably going to have more left things going on and more like left-leaning politicians like elected, but they're going to have to go through this phase first of people realizing like, hey, they need to start feeling that like impact, and they're not going to until like the next 10 or so years. So you just gotta be patient. Dari says, I've always been really interested in their approach to food. I love the discipline of it. I know. I love Japanese food. Like, it's so fucking good. And watching them cook is my favorite thing. My favorite. I literally posted about it in Discord. But my favorite kitchen, like just watching anybody cook or whatever, is June's Kitchen on YouTube. So June and what's her name? I think it's Rachel and June. They had a couple channel that I started watching when I was in high school. And she basically was ex-military. She was on a base in Japan for a while, and then she met June. And then she started learning more about Japanese culture, and I started watching a lot of their, like, because you know how YouTube was like in the 2010s, right? Especially earlier 2010s. People would be like, learn about me and all this stuff. And they would like sit down and they would just read off questions. And it was more like kind of vlog style, you know? But I love their channel so much. I really wanted to like move to Japan. That's why I'm learning like Japanese. And so, like a lot of my friends are fucking weebs. But yeah, so they did a really good like job just making content and stuff. And I slowly got to watch her become like less and less interested in America and slowly start focusing more and more in Japan. And that's when I was like, oh my God, Japan isn't what I thought it was. Because she would film like her going to the doctor, the process of becoming a citizen, benefits, cons, like they got married and they're really cute. But yeah, I just love it so much. But she doesn't really talk about politics too much, mainly because she like used to be in the military, and I think she said that it's not something that she's super proud of participating in. So she just doesn't really talk about it anymore. Daria says, it looks so amazing in Japan. It's clean and no one talks to you. All nonverbal communication and elaborate tea rituals. I think that's a bit of an oversimplification, but yeah. I think the biggest problem I would personally have with Japan would be like the over sexualization of people. Like, I don't know. I literally got. I like quit a job because I had a dude like grab my breast, and my manager was like, you should apologize to him, because I punched him in the face because it was just an instinctive thing. So he like reached over and like grabbed me like cup to feel on both sides, and I socked him in the face. And then my manager was like, you should apologize to him, and I was like, no, I'm just not gonna work here anymore. And I stopped working there. But yeah, Daria says that's exactly my kind of place. Oh, not the over sexualization part. Yeah, like the how people talk and stuff like that. I guess that's fine. People are very humble, very like reserved and very shy, but not obviously not everybody's gonna be like that. I really like the car culture though. I love JDM vehicles a lot. Like most JDM cars that are really nice, you can't get over in the States immediately. I think there's like a 20-year waiting period or something like that. So they literally have warehouses of just cars that people purchase from America, like really rich people, and they just stay there until they're allowed to be shipped in or imported into the States. Daria says in Chile they used to have crazy thing called Cafe con Piernas, which where it was a coffee shop with girls in the smallest skirts possible, and I think they got it from Japan. They have one of those in California. Well, it's not like the same thing, but there's like this one coffee shop in, I think they have some in LA, maybe all the way up north to like San Fran or whatever. But they basically have girls in like bikinis just giving out coffee, and it's so funny. It's so funny. It's like Hooters, but coffee. And it's with risk too, because it's like hot coffee, you know? You could burn yourself. So, double hot. Triple hot because it's hot there too. George says, when you should said to your boss, let me talk to my lawyer first. Yeah, no, I just left. It wasn't worth it. I was working at a gas station. So I was like, this ain't for me, yo. Because one of my friends worked there, and she was like, yeah, it's a really chill gig. Like, you get paid a lot. And I was like, why do you get paid so much to work at a fucking gas station? But, I think I worked there for 2.5 weeks. I'm not even joking with you. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to coffee work. And I got another barista job. But it sucked. And there was like footage of it on the thing. And then the girl to this day, like after I quit, she stopped being like nice to me. She did not want to talk to me anymore after that because the manager was like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I think she's being dramatic. But she never got to see the footage. That's the thing. Anyways, Daria says it was like their version of Hooters, which was very disappointing when I went to one. Yeah. I remember when I was dating like one of my exes, his family, and I was like, oh, because I don't mind people doing like sex work or like doing any body stuff or whatever. But his dad took their whole family out to Hooters. And then my ex was talking to me about like how he was like, you should go to Hooters and you should work at Hooters. Like he really just wanted me to do it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm like Hooters material because of the fact that like literally not even 6 months later, that's when I worked at the gas station. And then I got in trouble for that. And I was like, I don't know if I could work at Hooters. I think I would be really, really upset. If I were working at like a strip club or something, I'd just be like, yeah, it's just par for the course. People are going to be horrible and shitty. But most girls that I know who worked at the club or have worked in clubs or still do that, the bouncers and other staff members will make sure that people are not harassing you like that. So they would have to like, pay properly and it would have to be more consensual. So, yeah. Daria says, I'd end up in an existential nightmare in a place like that. Everyone's going somewhere except you. Yeah, I do not recommend Hooters in Baltimore. It's so fucking cursed. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's a lot of like hypersexual like men who and women can be like this too, like don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of like hypersexual men who just like they need to pursue that interest of like women and everything like that. And they'll do anything they can to get what they want. And that kind of stresses me out. And that's why I have a deep respect for people and women and men who do sex work and have to deal with the male demographic because shit's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard as hell. But I'm sorry. Dari says, Baltimore was great. Oh, we went on the Wire tour. But that turned out to be, my kid printed someone off Google Maps and we were whizzing around the hood. Oh. I mean, I guess so. Yeah, Google Maps fucking, sends you everywhere. I remember I was trying to, like, I think the weirdest thing that Google Maps ever did to me when I was, like, I don't know. I think I was traveling here, literally like 2 days ago. I was trying to like go to, a place and I like put in the address and everything. And Google Maps was like, so I could turn left at an intersection. And it was like, you need to go right. And then you need to do a U-turn where you couldn't do any U-turns on that road at all. It was like, you could just need to do a U-turn in order to go that way. And I was sitting there and I was like, is Google Maps okay? Is Google Maps like having a stroke? Like, what the fuck is happening here? I was just sitting there like, I'm gonna go left and I'm just gonna let it fucking reroute because, it was crazy. But yeah. Anyways, long story short, we're getting so off topic here, but Japan is pretty chill. I think, there's lots of really interesting things that can happen there, and it can be very good if you fit the demographic of the people who would do well there. I'm very assertive And I don't really talk to a lot of people, so me being in Japan wouldn't be horrible for me because I'm a very like reserved person in person. It may not seem that way on stream, but I really don't like talking to people a lot or doing a lot of social things. But there are lots of aspects of Japanese culture that I for sure would struggle with. Like a lot of the respectful stuff and that sort of thing I'd be fine with. There's lots of like modesty rules for women and stuff like that, but yeah. Darius says sat navs are great. Imagine having to drive and getting a map out. I had to do that before when I was a kid and I had to travel all over the US with my grandparents. We had like a Garmin, but my grandma made me learn how to use a map and a compass. Let's see. And new Prime Minister. Sune Takachi? Oh no. Her yeah, she's very, very, very. You had to navigate in the car with a compass. Yes, I did. And that was in middle school. And 300 yards take northeast bearing. No, it wasn't like that because you have road signs and stuff. So, obviously. But sometimes, like, you gotta be sure you're going the right direction. Let's see, here's an article by Associated Press about the new prime minister. So in a country that ranks poorly in international for gender equality, the new president of Japan's long-governing Liberal Democrats and likely next prime minister is an ultra-conservative star of a male-dominated party that critiques call an obstacle to women's advancement. Yeah, I think that's why they had her. They like were promoting her and stuff like that. She admires former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and is a proponent of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's. Is it Abe's or Abe's? I don't know. Conservative vision of Japan. Takachi is the first female president of Japan's predominantly male ruling party that has dominated Japan's post-war politics without interruption. She has hardly touched on gender issues during the campaign, but on Saturday, as she tried out the party's president chair and posed for a photo, as is customary for a newly elected leader, she said now that the LDP has had its first female president, its scenery will change a little. You see that? That was cute. Oh, I love him. Anyways, first elected to parliament from her hometown in Nara in 1993, she has served in key party and government positions, including Minister of Economic Security, Internal Affairs, and Gender Equality. On Saturday, she called out for an all-out effort to rebuild the party and regain public support. She asked that all party lawmakers to, quote-unquote, work like a horse, and then she added, start quotes again, I will abandon the word work-life balance. I will work, and work. End quote. The work-life balance quickly trended on social media, triggering mixed reactions, support for enthusiasm, and concern for her work ethic. So this is like the most controversial thing that I learned about with her, and when I heard about her in the past, because people are like, oh yeah, no, like she probably won't get it, but she's based on Fifth Harmony, work, bro. No, but she really, like, Japan has been slowly leaning towards more of a work-life balance, and especially in the 2000s / like early 2010s, it was very much an insane work culture where like you would work around the clock, like to the point where people would literally routinely just like fucking sleep on the streets if they were working too hard, or you could have like those capsule hotels, which were like, I don't know, they're not like super nice for people to stay in or whatever, but they were intentionally made for workers so they could sleep overnight in the cities that they were in. Daria says a few very well-paced Italians could bring the country to its knees. I know. Italy's work culture is such like an opposite thing to Japan. Well, and when I was younger, I really wanted to live in a work focused place like Japan or New York City because I work a lot. Like, I do a lot of work, and it's just kind of in my nature to just work all the time. It's hard for me to rest. Like, I need someone to tell me to chill the fuck out and rest, otherwise, I will not do it. And it's either I'm like working on my own shit, and then once I get my shit done, you know, like, I don't know, not to make it sad or whatever, but like, when a lot of my relatives passed away really quickly, I dumped everything and I was like, I'm gonna grind the fuck out of my mental health and then make sure I'm doing good. Once I was in like a really good place, like better than I was even before they passed away, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna start working again. And then here I am. Just a little workaholic. I do get burnt out sometimes though, so I rest, but I make sure like I understand my limitations better now. Darius says Spain was wild too. I was coaching and playing, and everyone else was just having lunch non-stop till it was time for dinner. Japan is really interesting because their work-life balance just it's been getting better slowly but surely, and I've noticed that in a lot of like Japanese content creators that I follow. There's this one lady on TikTok. She has red hair. She's a teacher there. That's why I started like getting really interested in it. Because I don't know, I like Japan. Like I have some like Japanese students that I've helped out and I've taught a little bit to. Uh, and I got like a little gift from them over there or whatever. I technically it wasn't a gift to me exactly, but it was a gift to a teacher and then she gave it to me because she was like, "Ah, here you go." And then she left. So I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I wasn't going to keep it. I was going to leave it there, but then the students were like, "You should take it." So then I took it. So I feel like it's like kind of a gift to me. I don't know. It was a gift of a gift of a gift. But I still keep it because it's nice. I just don't work with a lot of Japanese students right now anymore. Darius says, you ever thought about getting an ESL certificate and fucking off to somewhere like Japan? You kind of have to get like a tassel. That's what it's called, like a tassel certificate. Um, tassel, I don't know. I've heard it called like tassel. Uh, I don't know if I'm really meant to teach, you know? Tassel, yeah. But I don't know. Where I work, we just call it tassel. I don't know why. I work with a lot of like students and that sort of thing who help, you know. So where I do things, I'm one of the only long-term like teacher aides that stay there like year throughout the different seasons and semesters. So I've been there for a while now. This is my like second school year there, and you know, I help out with like summer classes and that sort of thing because it's not like a traditional setting and there's adults or whatever. Um, and I've learned that teaching is harder for me, mainly because they give me a lot of like lower level people that are harder, that need more consistency, um, who have just been like, who need like someone who's going to be there consistently, like all the time. So that's why I get the harder students. Like a couple weeks ago, I had like a really good class, and she was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be like what an average class would be like if you were to ever teach anywhere not here." And I was like, oh my god!" And I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." But yeah, teaching can be hard. The biggest fan of bees, I like your name, says my friend John and I got into some problems due to a misunderstanding, and now I'm faced with a dilemma where if I don't blackmail him with all the photos and videos, he will ruin my career with his side of evidence. Do you have any advice? Bro, are you okay? We're talking about teaching people English. I don't know. I don't know how to help you there. I don't have any life experience like this to give you advice. I mean, it depends on what he's like trying to blackmail you with. You're like piquing my interest, but I don't know. Darius says, don't do anything for free you can get paid for. That's the thing. If you want to do stuff like, I don't know, for me, biggest fan says bad stuff. Bro, what did you do? Darius says, ask for money. Like for me, like what I do? Are you talking to Biggie? You don't deserve Biggie. I'm gonna call you Big. Oh, no, for Mr. B? Yeah. I don't know. I think blackmail is, like, boring. What is an LYSP? What the fuck is that? I don't know what the fuck that is. A lisp? Like a lisp, like a speaking lisp? Like you get it when Bee Stinky lisp? Fuck you, Darius. Okay, that genuinely made me laugh. Ah, fuck you. Yes, we should. Bro, what does that have to do with anything? Blackmail is low key like cowardice. Just so you fucking know. It's a coward's way to do things. It is a good troll, Darius. It is. Ah, it's funny. All I know is that blackmail is cowardly. He's from up north and he's been part of several major online productions. Bro, what the fuck are you on about? You're so fucking gross. Lispy John is gonna end my career, so I should blackmail him. What's your advice, Posey? He's involved in some bad stuff. Bruh! You're so fucking... You do not want advice from me on any of this shit. Dude, you don't even know fucking about me. Here's my thing. Here's my fucking thing with, like, giving advice on the internet. Only ask for advice from people that you know have either experienced something before, have, like, it's a crime sheep. Fuck you, Darius. Holy shit. But you gotta be sure that you actually respect, like, their opinion and want to know what they would do. Two, like, fucking, do you want the life that that person has? And do you think that they would be experienced enough, 3, to, like, actually give you good advice in this? What about me, a little white bitch from the Midwest, would give you any idea that I would have any good advice for you on this shit? Just so you fucking know. Just so you know. Like, I don't think I would be able to help you with this crap. Just so you know. Darius says, I really rate it because there wasn't even a warm-up or a hello. It was straight to the point. I know. It's actually really fun when they do that. What the fuck are you on about, biggest? Ugh. I have no experience with this. I'm not the person to ask you about this, just so you know. You're just saying, what about me? No, bro, what about me is like, why do you think I would give you a good answer? You seem to have answers. Are you high? Are you, like, methed out right now? You're the answers guy? Josie can't even drive properly, let alone driving me advice. Fuck you. Oh my god. The funny thing is that I'm actually a very aggressive driver. Are you okay, biggest? Are you okay? I literally said I'm a white bitch from the Midwest. What the fuck? We'll entertain this for a little bit, chat. Just so you know, it's been a while since we got a good troll. Dari says, of course you are. You must look like something out of Mario Kart throwing pants around as you cut people off. Nah, I do. I'm just like, I don't know. I think the fastest I ever drove was like going 120 on like a highway where no one was there in a fucked up 95 Honda Odyssey. It was crazy. Could be mixed with Chinese. Are you okay? Are you okay? What about me? I'm not gonna take the bait. I'm not taking the bait. I'm not taking the bait. I'm not taking the bait. Are you okay? What's the best troll you've pulled off, Mr. B? Yeah, true. Good question. Can you say John likes you and you're a bad person while looking into the camera? No. No. Find someone better. But Wonder Bread says you look like the type of girl who would stalk a guy and play the victim. Bro, what the fuck? Hey, yo, I'm not Taylor Swift. Big says I trolled John by going on his show and distract. Are you okay? I'm enjoying what's going on in chat right now. Card says you trolled John. Well, that's epic. Oh, it's a group! Darius, it's a group. They're together. They're together towards a common cause. Communism at its finest. Card, I hope you're a troll too. We're here to take over the stream. Well, I guess it's kind of boring. Villain, I should say, bro. What's the history of you and John? Do we have lore masters here? I do want to know. I'm curious now. Little trolls, tell me, tell me. We did cover most of what I wanted to cover, so at this point, I'm just here for funs, shits and gigs. I enjoy the shits and gigs. Also, I guess thank you for the follow, Cardsy. I agree with Darius. A card says we siphon funds from the local government and been north. What the fuck? He trolled his ass. Yeah, okay. How long do you think it's gonna take for me to have to ban you guys? Little trolls. Okay. You tricked him real good. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. No! No, biggest. I'm not gonna say things just because you tell me to, especially when you have, like, no fucking evidence for whatever. And you're like, mod me, I'll ban him, no regrets. Hi, Elle. How are you, Elle? Have you ever heard of a small-brained American? Oh, are you talking about yourself? Darius says they're alright. No, what do you mean, Darius? Do you guys want to talk about Japan? I'm moving to Japan. What kind of American is that, LOL? Bro! Cool Game says, any Christian gamers in the chat? No. There might be some. No, it's a YouTuber that does what you do. I don't fucking know. You don't even know what I do. Or did. Bro, you don't even know what I do or whatever. Is your cat dead? It hasn't moved at all. He's sleeping. I think your cat's dead. Bro, I haven't gotten trolls like this in a while. This is so fun. Nah, he's alive. Silly. Wait, I know exactly how to wake him up. You teach English to Japanese children, not children, but immigrants and refugees. It's a common job these days for Americans. Not really, but okay. You need to water your plants? Not really. They're already watered. Wake him up, then cat killer. You guys are so fucking goofy. I love trolls. This is so good. Darius says, I hope not. We need to stop Americans spreading their version of English. Oh my god, it's so good. One of my students, she's from Sudan, right? And the only media that she consumed when she moved, because I teach like lower level English, right? But she has a British accent because she watched a lot of BBC shows to help her learn English, and it's so funny. Oh, I love it. Let's see, Cardi says it's a good summer for burnouts. It's nice that you're committed. Someone has to be. Are you okay? You don't even know what I do for work. I literally teach ESL as a volunteer. Like, I don't get paid for that. It's something I do to help my community. Darius says, imagine being in the middle of Sudan and saying y'all. No. Oh, cool games. The gamer says BBC. Yeah. Biggest says don't listen to these guys. This is just their job. Oh, I know it's fun. Bong. Wonderbird. It's so funny. If you don't get paid, how do you afford all the plants? Good question. You don't need to know. Biggest fan of B says we get paid to do this. It'd be so funny if you did though. That'd be a fun job, low key. Just trolling people. I don't talk about my actual job online, but I do lots of different stuff. Bong Hit says that's weird that a girl in your class learned English from BBC. Bro! Is a fake B fan. I know. I agree with you, cool game. Biggest fan of B says you need to water your plants. Blah. Do you work for the government? Wouldn't you like to know? Artsy. This is so fun. I love trolls. She's clearly FBI. Oh, you wish. You wish. You wish. You wish. Oh, you guys are so fucking cursed. I'll give you like 5 more minutes of this. Okay? Do you like Brentford or just literal bees? Why would I wake my sleeping cat? You guys are so, like, bitchy. Little cowards. No, cool, I don't. Oh my god. 2 minutes. You're being annoying. Dang. Alright. Boop. Boop. And boop. Okay. And boop. There we go. Goodbye, little chatters. Have fun, sirs. Troll someone else. It's like, it's so annoying because then they start doing stuff where like they don't even. I'm excited to see how else they've got. I know they might have more. It's always funny when they do. But like, can you believe they want me to wake my sleeping cat? Don't you know that that's like against the law? You gotta like have them sleep. Like the minute someone doesn't respect someone's space or the fact that they want to sleep, don't belong on my stream. Sorry. Too cute. Of course they got more. That's Discord is going mental right now. I know, right? People are fucking wild. They always like to troll, but then they don't understand that the streamer can literally just like keep blocking you. And I don't know. It's funny at this point. We haven't had a couple like Discords come in and start to like try to like do weird shit and take over. It's okay. I don't know, we'll see if they'll come back. They're like, oh, we followed though, so it's okay. I always give people second chances. Just once. Just once. But if you guys come back and you're little bitches again, then I get to ban you. Elle says, I get it. I mod for quite a few channels and deal with the chuds all the time. They're kind of funny though. Sometimes it's entertaining. It's like watching a plane crash, you know? It's like, ah, man. As long as, you know, the... Oh, are you? Are you? He sent you. Oh, we got another one. Larry says, I felt it was going to be more fun when they started off with blackmailing John and we were going to get a good backstory. I know! It's like they couldn't stick with the bit. They just lost the plot so fast. I was so excited for them. It's okay to be sorry, Snap, you know? Most people are sorry when they're stupid. You're just missing out on actually having a good time. Maybe making fun of, like, stuff is fun for you, which is okay. You can do better next time. At least get, like, a better bit to go with, honestly. No offense, but you could do better. It's just digital knock and run. I see the appeal. But it's so boring. Elle says the done and fuck around and found out. Yeah, but that's kind of like boring. Because, like, if you want to, like, actually troll, You gotta like watch the streamer for a while. And this isn't something I would do. I'm just saying that like it'd be best because I've had trolls do this before that where they watch me for a while and then they try to like figure me out and then they try to like use what I said in the past like couple days against me and I'm just like, oh okay, you're just a troll. Bye. You're not adding like any input. Daria says, next time team up as a group of ginger supremacists and try and get Josie to dye her hair. I already do dye my hair. Elle says, I got a successful troll with the name of my keyboard, even though it's a real thing. I'm satisfied. Yeah. I feel like I haven't trolled anyone yet. I think it's kind of like, if I'm genuine, people actually think I'm trolling. And that's the best part, because it's like, you could troll, but then if you're like authentically yourself online, you don't have to dox yourself or anything like that or like give too much information about yourself. But when you're authentically yourself, people think you're trolling because then you're taking a stance. Like you have your own opinions and stuff compared to the streamer, the person that you're consuming the content of. And then they either get bitter and yell at you because they're like, are you trolling me? Because you have a different opinion? It's just, I don't know. And all the rest of it's just kind of like food for thought shit, which is kind of fun. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, no, I literally make my hair blonder. Can't you tell, chat? Can't you tell? You always shout at us even if we have a different opinion. Yeah, but I don't really yell at you. I'm just like, oh, your opinion's trash. Do better. Like, you could do that, like, in anyone's chat. Like, I remember, I used to talk in, like, a lot of people's chats for, like, a while, especially when I first started streaming a couple years ago. Aerodynamic, fast as fuck, boy. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Elle. I shaved my head, no hair. It's fucking bald. Just bald as shit. But, like, no, I remember, there's been, like, a lot of chats where, like, I've talked to just like many random people's chats and I would just to get more comfortable streaming I would just talk to random people and I'd just be like, oh, this is my opinion to like what you're saying, and then I realized that a lot of people's chats are just like emotes or no one's like saying a lot of shit, so when you do that you stand out a lot, and I think I got yelled at by a lot of people. Peak is when I got yelled at by Hassan. And he was like, what the fuck is that take? And I was like, wouldn't expect anything less. Elle says, I actually have hair, but progressively kept cutting it shorter and shorter because I hated dealing with it. Finally said screw it and got rid of it. Bald. So you're like a domer. I call people that are bald domers. You know? I mean, it's okay to be a domer. What else could you be? I've gotten yelled at by, well, not like yelled at, but like people would be like, are you trolling me a lot? Because I'll just like have a different opinion. And I'll be like, no. I just like to debate people a little bit. I'm just like, but what about this? So even IRL, if I have a different opinion than someone and it's like an opportunity for me to be like, what do you think about this? I do it. I do it a lot. Why did his thought shout? I don't even remember. That's the meme. And he didn't yell at me. He was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't know, because when you guys are like, oh, you guys have like similar opinions or whatever, I'm like, we really don't. Like, we do in some aspects, but not the exact same, obviously, because, yeah. I laugh about it though, because I was like, no one will see my comments, and that was when I realized that people saw my comments. And Andrew was like, I'm not surprised. Daria says, I got yelled at in a conspiracy stream for saying Stonehenge was a very sophisticated anthill once. Okay, I don't troll like that, though. Let's see. Elsa is just the average bald white guy with a beard, kind of like Kmart. Kmart Tim the Tatman. I don't know who Tim the Tatman is. I don't know who a lot of streamers are. Just so y'all know. Yeah, that is true, type 2. But he didn't really shout. He was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, valid. And that was like when I first started streaming. And I was like, ooh. And I didn't talk about politics at all either. That's why I was like in a lot of like political things because I was like, I needed to like get it out. And now I'm like, okay, fine. I should just talk about it here instead. I've evolved. And other reasons too. I'm like, it's okay now. She knows who Marina Joyce is, though. I do know who Marina Joyce is. Like I said, I stopped paying attention because I stopped researching like as many content creator stuff because it's kind of grown very stagnant. Just so you know, I don't really obsess over people's careers. When I was younger, like in high school, I was very interested in that sort of thing. But it was mainly because I wanted to understand. I've talked about this so many times. I wanted to understand how the content worked and why people did what they did and why things were popular. But now I have more of a base understanding of it. So why would I pay as much attention? I'm just like, yeah, they did the thing. Ooh. And people like them because of this. Ooh. It's not as much like stuff to learn. Joyce and Isis was one of the best YouTube arcs of all time, bro. 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 Cursed comment. Mm. Anyways, what else do you want to talk about, bruv? They have some time before they can probably come back and troll more. Right, it's bedtime, isn't it? No, it's not bedtime. 30 more minutes, bitch. Unless you actually have to go to bed. And then, okay, guess so. I'll give you 10, bruh. Time, L. I forgot to add the bot. I was like, I'll add a bot. I swear. I'll add a bot. Like, I fucking swear. I will. No bot has been added. Yeah. I might deserve that a little bit, just so you know. Have you had any decent trolls in here? What do you mean? Literally early. I mean, they weren't super decent. What classifies as like a decent troll? Like fun ones. Please explain. Like what? I probably have. Like when I first started streaming, it was good. That make you laugh. When I first started streaming, but that's because people would say like really insulting things that were kind of funny because I'd be like, yo. This one dude earlier, the dude asking me if I was Chinese, that was funny. I thought that was kind of funny because I'm literally white as fuck, yo. So I think that's funny. I don't know. Sometimes people say like really off shit. Like you make me laugh sometimes. It takes a lot to actually make me laugh. Like I'm not even joking with you. I was watching like comedy specials on Saturday because that was when I was like hanging out with people and I got home and I was like, I'm gonna put this prosecco to use and I'm gonna watch comedy shit and I'm gonna like laugh a lot. And then I was like, oh, this isn't that funny. Oh, damn. But then send me a good fucking meme and I will laugh a lot. Dari says, I saw an Overwatch stream once in COVID where it descended into everyone arguing over some kid's homework. Wait, dead ass, that'd be so good. That'd be really funny. But it has to be like a good like plot point. Elle says she is a boop, pumpkin spice white. How did they get Chinese? I know. People look at me and they think I'm conservative. Like, y'all. Come on. Don't you get that I'm just baiting everybody all the time? It's the best. It's the best. You gotta blend in and then teach them about socialism and communism. And then they're like, what? That's actually a good idea. But because you don't look like what people think of that sort of thing, they're like more accepting of it. And then you make more change. Whilst in a blanket doing a worm-like dance. Yes. Yes. That's what I do. I'm all cozied up. It's actually really cold and rainy today. George says, yeah, you tricked me. I did. I know. I trick everybody. They're like, oh, she's a conservative. Like, on my TikTok, all the time, conservatives will, like, DM me, and they're like, you look like a good Christian girl. How could you stray from the path? And I'm like, just because I like looking hot and I like, wearing like more chill stuff and baiting people doesn't mean that I'm a conservative. It's just fun. It's the best. Because then I can get like wherever I want to. And then I surprise people. Like being like getting invited to things that I look like I shouldn't be invited to. And they're like, why is this like weird conservative girl there? And then they talk to me and they're like, oh my God, she's more of a lefty than I am. But I get away with it because of how I look. You gotta use what you got, guys. I feel like you're judging me. But it fucking works, y'all. It works, chat. Privilege does exist. Sorry. But because of it, you gotta use what you got to advocate for the people in need. And then you learn more about it, the more it happens. So it works. And that's why a lot of lefties don't really follow me on TikTok yet, because they think I'm conservative when they come past me. They'll message me and they'll be like, you need to do more of this. And I'm like, I already do though. True, the beautiful smile got me. Did you just say use your privilege to go to parties? No, not parties. Just get involved in certain things. If people think you're one of them, they tell you a lot more. Just so you know. Like undercover. I'm kidding, it's not undercover. It's nothing fancy like that. Or is it? No, I'm kidding. But you can be like, I don't know, I just like dressing the way I dress. There's nothing wrong with it. Secret age be on the top of the list. Yeah, me a terrible fucking liar, totally. It would work out so well. Yeah, no, but it's like, I don't know. It's just people just kind of like assume that I'm conservative, and then they start talking to me and they'll be like, oh. And I'm like, or just listen. Word on the street, she has Chinese down bad, bro. It's funny. Cause my dad wanted me to learn Mandarin. He was like, if you want to make it anywhere in the world, you gotta learn Mandarin. Like, I'm not joking with you. And if he knew I was learning Arabic and like Japanese, he'd have a fucking aneurysm. My coworker at one of my jobs, that I work at like part-time, just like event stuff, she's learning Mandarin. So I know a little bit of Mandarin, but I'm not good at it. And most of my students aren't really Mandarin, because why would anyone from China want to like... I work with refugees and people who don't really have as much access to things, so why would they want to come to America? Like, they literally, like, why would... America is like a downgrade. Daria says, is that rare in America to be proficient in another language? I thought that was probably a meme. Yes. Like, I am I'm not the best at any of the languages that I do speak. Like, I can be conversational to a certain extent. Like, my Spanish, my bar runs out a lot faster, and I do, because here in American schools, we don't learn Spanish like Mexico Spanish or Caribbean Spanish. We learn like Spain Spanish. So my Spanish is better with like one of the teachers I work with who's from Spain. But but yeah, I can speak to her a little bit, and I can get to a certain extent. Like, I can do directions, I can do like, I like this, I like that, or I can have like basic conversational stuff, but when you go in depth into like a personal story, it's hard for me to follow. And Arabic, I am almost there. Like, I'm starting to get better with like the months and the days and colors and items and objects and stuff like that. That's like where I struggle the most. So like with Spanish, you have like lunes martes, miércoles, and you can just go on and so forth. But it's with Arabic, there's not as much like tools to get better. And there's basically like, I think there's technically 28 different dialects that could be considered their own different languages of Arabic, and that's hard. And because I stream and stuff, I've just been trying to do like Gulf, Levantine, and Fusha. Elle says, um, Spanish is normalish, I would say, yeah. Darius says, Elkie, you've been around Europe and you speak anything, okay? Well, your psychic is certainly very good, bro. Elle says, I did when I lived in Italy, but Italians learn English in schools, so speaking Italian wasn't super needed, especially around an Air Force base, yeah. Can you say correctly, would you like us to speak in Spanish? No, because I don't want to talk in Spanish on stream. And I get really nervous to speak on stream. Like, if we had more Spanish speakers, I think I'd be more comfortable doing it. But it like kind of slips out. Like if I can't really like think of like an English word, sometimes like that comes to mind and I'll say it. And now it's happening more with Arabic. So like I don't know, like the common things that I don't know. Yeah. Fair enough. I was interested in if you could do a conditional tense structure. Nope, it's not very good. It's very broken. It's very broken. But it's to the point where they can understand me and I can understand them. Because, like, keep in mind, when I teach ESL, sometimes I do have, like, a couple Spanish speakers. Right now I'm doing primarily, like, Sudanese, like, Arabic speakers. And a lot of the people who are Sudanese are Muslim. So they do understand like some traditional Arabic because, they pray and they read the Quran and that sort of thing, and it's very similar. But yeah, so I can kind of like get away with doing like more Arabic stuff. But they obviously have their own like native languages, so yeah. Anyways, I'm not super great at it, but because I speak at a lower level with everyone, that's kind of what I have. My Spanish speaking friends are so fucking annoyed with me though. Did you do Latin at home when you were younger? No, my grandfather did Greek. So I know some Greek stuff, and that's partially why I started working at like the Euro place. It was like fake Greek or ancient Greek? Ancient Greek. So like I'm not good at it though. Saphone. Like I said, I'm not good at it. I don't remember a lot of it because my grandfather learned Greek so he could read and translate the original like biblical texts. It means wise woman. Vibes, yeah. But like I don't remember a lot of it. Like if there was some like biblical kind of like text or whatever, I know more. My Latin isn't good. I don't know a lot of Latin. There's a girl I know who's learning like traditional Latin stuff, but it's not something I'm super interested in. Because right now I'm already doing like 3 language studies. Not on purpose. It's just I'm exposed to like Arabic, Spanish, and Japanese the most. So I'm just like, well, I guess I'm learning some of those languages now. And I try to practice a lot. Japanese is a lot easier to practice because there's so much more materials and it's not like crazy different all the time. Arabic is hard, partially because the way that the language is like structured is very different than other languages and how words change and stuff like that. It's just weird. Darius says, I was alright at Latin and Greek, but surprisingly I haven't used this in school and they don't even have the vocab for iPad, so it's not that useful. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like right now I have to try really hard with Arabic, but when I start doing Japanese classes and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot easier for me. Like, just because Andrew already knows how to, like, read Japanese, because, I've known him since high school, and I met him through, like, a lot of the Japanese stuff and, like, theater stuff that I was kind of, like, a part of with the foreign exchange students and everything. Because, like I said, I've been working with immigrants for, like, a really long time. I have, like, an Okinawa, like, scroll kind of thing. I don't know what the fuck they're called, but I have one up there. And it's kind of, like, my little motivational thing to, like, keep me motivated to learn Japanese, but I don't know. I think eventually I'll probably be, like, fluent in maybe 6 languages. That's my goal before I die. So, but it takes a lot of immersion. So eventually here on stream, we're probably going to have days where I practice more, or I might just do that on TikTok. I haven't decided. Daria says, if you don't know your accusative singular form, your dative plural, you're basically a barbarian. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, in Latin, there tends to not be a traditional sentence structure, as is mainly cases. Yeah. Yeah. So Latin's really weird. It's, I just don't really have a desire to learn it. I know a lot of people, especially if you're like in the upper echelons of society, like private schools will have you learn Latin. A lot of the religious schools that are associated with the church that I grew up in, they teach Latin and Greek because of the religious history and undertones of it. But because it's not a Catholic kind of branch or underneath Catholicism or Protestantism, it's like own thing. There's not as much reliance on Latin as it is Greek focused. Daria says, I enjoyed Latin, but since you can't talk to people in it apart from priests and for some reason Finnish fishermen, it's not high on my list of must-haves. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm doing Arabic, Spanish, and Japanese. Those are gonna be my 3 mains. I'd be okay with learning other languages too, but it'd have to be like people I would be more associated with and close to. I know that once I start doing more Japanese stuff again, I'll probably remember like some phrases and stuff I picked up on when I was younger. But it'll take me a bit to get there. This is mainly just for fun. I just like languages. I think they're interesting. But I was always too afraid to really like dedicate time into it. And then I realized it's just like a repetition thing. The more that you get involved in it, the better you'll be. And then you can just, work your way up there. But yeah, how do we always get into this? I feel like we always go back to this. But yeah, it'll come in really handy with like my future and my careers and stuff like that I plan on doing. So I just got to keep working on it. But yeah, like I said, Arabic, Spanish, and then Japanese. I'm thinking of learning like French. I feel like French would be fun just for shits and gigs. So that'd be like 4. Mandarin probably. That'd be really useful in the future. So that's 5. What else would I want to learn? I was also thinking about like Swedish. Swedish would be fun. And then I either want to learn like Persian or maybe like Greek would be okay, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Daria says if you don't enjoy socializing, it's fairly. Or I want to learn like an African language. But a lot of those languages, like most people, especially up north, can be like Muslim, so they semi-understand Arabic. But most of the time, if you go down south, a lot of people already know English because English is really important. So let's see. Dory says if you don't enjoy socializing, it's fairly tough to learn a language, especially the fun stuff. Yeah, it can be. Daria says, "Oh, just get one under your belt, Josie, and go from there." Yeah, but it's like it's hard for me to just do one, so that's why I'm doing multiple. And learning multiple at the same time is really helpful for how my brain works because then I can understand the differences in how each one works better. And that's why I'm only doing like 2 at a time. Like Spanish, I already took 5 years of Spanish. Technically, I tested out of Spanish when going to college and stuff like that. Like, I don't have to take language classes, but I am, mainly because they're easy credits. And I think it's fun. Because I'm crazy. And they don't have anything else I'm interested in. At least where I'm going right now. So I'm just like, well, I guess I'll focus on linguistics because why not? It's really helpful. If I ever want to leave the country and move someplace else, I'd have like a solid-ish foundation. My Spanish really isn't that good though. Like even though I took 5 years of Spanish and like technically I passed like and did really well in my exam or whatever, I just don't enjoy doing it because it's like it's one of those things where like if I listen to like, I don't know, different, there's so many different dialects of Spanish, kind of like Arabic, where it can be hard to even understand what people are saying. So like I said, someone from Spain, I can understand them a lot better than like Bad Bunny. Like Bad Bunny uses a lot of slang and terminology that I just don't know, like at all. So it's like it really depends on where people are from. Like one of my friends, he's from El Salvador, and he'll speak in Spanish, and lots of stuff I understand, but I don't understand a lot of the slang of what he says. But yeah. Dari says, I had a Spanish grammar book to learn some tenses, and then I just got stuck in. Yeah. Well, you lived in what, Chile, right? But the language there is going to be different than like Mexico or Spain and that sort of thing. Yeah, you lived in Chile and Spain. Yeah, I know. If you know like better Spanish, then that'd be nice. I'm really rough with it. Like, and you obviously won a tournament in Mexico. Yeah, you stayed. You've been to a lot of like Spanish speaking stuff, which is nice. I don't know. That's like the thing with language cuz it's really hard. Like I would have to date someone from like another country and like live with them and be like immersed with the language and have them just speak to me in that language or at least for the most part so I could learn it. Like that would be the top way for me to learn. So, yeah. That's pretty much what would have to happen. Um for me to like be super dedicated to learning a language and become like completely fluent. And I with my pacing and how like I assume I pick up languages and stuff because I haven't been that exposed to it. It would probably take me 2 years to become like at least considered semi fluent in it. I don't know. Daria says, well, we also found out when I was 16 my mom was half Spanish, so I had to learn to talk to my cousin, Fat Friend. Bro, what the fuck? In Mexico, the nicknames are fucking wild. Like, I am gonna be like a little honest right now. The reason why I was semi okay with Spanish and why I tested so high was because I had more exposure. One of my best friends in high school, her mom was actually from Mexico, and she was a professor speaking, like teaching Spanish and stuff like that at the university that was close to her. Like, it was in our town. So she just would speak to me in Spanish, and then she'd be like, practice, and I'd be like, okay. She'd just yell at me to practice with her, and I'd be like, okay. She'd be like, en español, and I'd just be like, okay. So every time that I like think of Spanish, I think of like the stuff that she taught me too, but I didn't really learn a lot. She would just talk to me in Spanish, and then I would get really anxious because one time she threw like her shoes at me. Not even one time, she did that multiple times. When I would say it wrong, so I just didn't say anything to her anymore, and I would just do what she told me in Spanish. This is fun. Anyways, she called me gringo a lot. She called me a useless gringo. And I was like, I don't know if she liked me or not actually, but she cooked food for me and she was nice to me. So I don't know. I still don't know if she liked me or not. Daria says, yeah, Fran just shouts at me and then tries to make me eat carbs. Yeah. Yeah, that was like the vibe. So like every time I would come over, she would be like, let's cook and stuff like that. And I'd be like, okay. We will cook the food. And then I don't know. But it still like gives me anxiety to think about it sometimes. Because if I didn't understand, she would like get mad at me. And I would just be like, context clues. So now when I think about like, I don't know, when I think about it, I get like a little anxious. I don't know. I feel like the way to help me learn something is to not throw things at me. That's it. Pajero is one of the greatest insults in any language. She called you a Pajera ever. Pajera, I guess, because J's are H's. Not not often. She called me gringo. Or gringa. She just called me white all the time. And then she would talk to her kids in Spanish, and I would just sit there. Yeah, someone that's lazy because they've been wanking all day, world class. Well, that makes sense why she didn't call me that. So that yeah, vibes. No, she never called me that. Yeah, she didn't really say like a ton of stuff to me like that though. She just mainly like focused on items. I don't know. I still don't remember a lot of it either. It was like a time in my life where a lot of like super traumatic things were happening to me, so I didn't really get the opportunity to keep going. But when I was in LA, I was like, I'm gonna get better with my Spanish. My goal is to learn Arabic and Spanish when I was there. And then, because I've always wanted to learn Arabic. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm not living there anymore. So, there was a car in Mexico called that, and they had to rebrand it, bro. That's cursed. That is so cursed. I also have to go soon and cook dinner. Just so you guys know, I'm getting hungry. My tummy is growling. Froggy says, did all the Flotilla people go home yet after kissing the flag or whatever? Boats are gone forever. I don't know if they're getting their boats back, Froggy. I think that's something that's like to be announced. I think they're still in like debate about that. But yeah, they forced them to kiss the flag, and I thought that was fucked. Like that was some fucked up shit. I think that was so fucking unnecessary. They also call the car a Nova, which is mad for Spanish, yeah. There's lots of like I think like Amel is like something in Spanish. There's lots of like it's confusing for me to learn Arabic because some names they mean different shit in Spanish, and then I sit there and I'm like my mind buffers for a minute and I'm like, wait, what language am I doing? Like I've literally said this so many times, but like whenever I'm just like, how do you say English word in Arabic? My brain will be like, como se dice taco? Not taco's a bad example. My brain will be like, como se dice car in El Arabia? And then I'll just be like, ah, and then my brain just sits there because I'm fucking myself over with the languages right now. It's so bad. Como se dice taco? I know. I know. I was like, that's a bad one. But like, you know what I mean. But like taco in El Arabia. Like, like, how do you, but then it's just so like, I don't know. My brain is broken. My brain is broken. I'm low key, like, I'm not fucking myself over. But for the next couple of years, it's gonna be a wild fucking ride. uh, but yeah, Froggy. I don't know what else is happening. I know a lot of people are getting released and they're just kind of doing it like in waves. And it's been the past like 24, 48 hours ish. Adari says the worst one I had was in a bank because the words for internet rate and mug were basically the same word. And I thought they were taking a piss saying that they were putting my money into a mug. Bro. Someone actually rang their wife to tell them how stupid I was. This is why I don't say a lot of stuff online, like in different languages. Like, give it like a year or so, and I'm probably gonna do a lot more conversational stuff. Because now, when we get like Arabic speakers in chat, I practice a little bit more instead of just like shutting down and being like, the internet lives forever. That's like my biggest thing. Because like, I'm better than how I speak here in chat, but I definitely run out of like language capacity for saying things. Like when I speak to people IRL, um, they'll like start saying things really quickly, and I'm like, it's like I'm flying too close to the sun, like, and I'm like, shit, stop, slow down. I don't know what you're saying. Anyways, Foggy says, so yeah, all floaters released, no medicine for Palestinians in need, and boats may get stolen but are not returned and are in Israel, and the floaters are deported. Deported, question mark. I think so. I think so. Didn't we try to stream in Spanish once? I think so. Well, I did that on TikTok. Like, I was testing out my Spanish a little bit, and that was fun. I did, I think, Lance and Politica. That's what I named it. And then I got, like, a lot of Spanish speakers in, but they were all from different places, and I was like, fuck. You are saying shit I don't know. And you did that, Darius. Like, you were doing a lot of Spanish stuff, but it was, like, a lot of, like, Chilean Spanish slang, and I did not understand it. and I kind of gave up. I remember that. But yeah, eventually we'll do more like and don't think that I am better than I am at any of these languages, because the minute you get me anxious, my brain blanks and then I forget everything and then I'm like, I don't know what to say or how to do anything. Just ask them if Messi is better than Ronaldo and you'll be fine. They'll all combust. Yo, I don't fuck with that. But Froggy, yeah, back to Gaza. The important shit. The important shit. Um, yeah, I don't think they're giving any of the medicine or any of the aid packages. They said that they were going to, or that they planned on distributing it, but I don't think that they will. Low key, I think that Israel is only met with America regarding like a potential peace deal because so many people are taking it upon themselves to try to go to Gaza. And yeah. Do you think the Israelis were ever going to let them deliver aid? No, no. Like that's why Canada, I think it was in August, they worked with a couple other nations, but it was outside of the US and Israel, and they literally dropped like I think it was like 11 tons or something of like that of aid, but they don't trust America. And fuck, I wouldn't trust America or Israel with that. Darius says, agreed, there was no chance of the flotilla getting through. One of them made it through the naval blockade, though. One of them did, because they were so overwhelmed. And they obviously, like, they got really close. But the fucked up shit is that they weren't supposed to, like, the Mediterranean is international waters. Most of it is. And I think, we've discussed this before, I think, internationally speaking, you're allowed to claim land that's like 8 to 10 miles off your shore. So they were arresting people that were far, far further out from that point. And that's because if you get too close, the flotilla was going to totally overwhelm them and they would have been able to get to Gaza, which they should have been able to do. It really pisses me off that they were doing illegal shit and basically every nation is like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, they can arrest people in international waters and it's fine. Type 2 says next time send 1,000 ships. Well, the thing is if Israel doesn't, like, concede to, like, a compromise of any sorts, then basically people are just going to keep sending aid. Because it's such, like, there's so much fucking global attention on it, which as there should be. No one cares about international laws or waters. I know, Darius. Literally, like what Trump's doing. He's basically shooting people. Or I think this weekend he hit another ship that was close to Venezuela, which was fucking stupid. Let's see. Type 2 says next time send 1,000. Agreed. Froggy says should with 40 boats come on. No, for sure. They would have. That's why 40 boats would have been able to overwhelm Israel's, like, defense for the blockade easily, especially if they were supposed to, like, peacefully take over for them. Like, yeah. Like, they would have easily been able to overwhelm the blockade. Like, they already had one ship that made it through the blockade because of how they were overwhelmed. And Israel had to start boarding ships in international waters because there was no way that they had enough resources to do that. Like, people do not understand that the reason why Israel is trying to do, like, a whole peace negotiation and stuff like that is because they don't want the world to know how weak they are. They do not have enough resources to maintain a blockade. They really don't. And once people start figuring that out, then they become more at risk or whatever. At risk. Let's see. Type 2 says Israel and the US have killed international laws. Agreed. Same with, like, Russia and, like, you know, other nations too, like China as well, with them building fucking islands in their in the sea that's, like, close to Japan and, like, the Koreas and all that sort of thing to try to extend out their water parameters. Let's see. Barbie says 40 is a joke. But they still got one through. They were able to break it. Darius says, oh fuck yeah, I saw that. Sinking Venezuelan boats. They're off their rockers at the moment. I know. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous. They should not be doing that at all. Like, and people are like, I'll be proud of it or whatever, but what is there to be proud of? Like, I think we have the 200 or 150th, whatever. There's some Navy anniversary. I think it's 250 years. That happened this past weekend, and Trump was talking about it there, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, Oh my god, because he was boasting about it. And then they post the footage on True Social and they're like, look, we should be proud of this. We're at like war with gangs and criminals and drug cartels. But the thing is only Congress can declare war, and Congress isn't doing shit right now. They're not even confirming a fucking voted in person from I think it's fucking Arizona. They haven't even confirmed her seat yet because of what's happening. Even though in the let me think. Yeah. I think it was in 2019 the last time there was a whole fucking government shutdown similar to what we have now. They still allowed new people to come in and they confirmed them. So there's no reason to not confirm her in. It's just fucking ridiculous. Froggy said, got through to land. No, they didn't get through to land, but they did break it through their waters. Froggy says, one of 40 made a delivery or one got past and intercepted shortly after. Yeah. One got past the blockade. Like, I think it's like 8 miles or so off of the shore is where it's considered their land or whatever, their waters. And then they can have pretty much free reign over whatever they want to do there. And outside of that, it's international waters, right? And one ship made it through. And that was a really big deal because no other ship has been able to do that. Also, because of all of the distractions that were happening with Israel trying to, get rid of the flotilla, people were actually able to fish and get more food, which people in Gaza have not been able to fish in their own waters for a really fucking long time. I think it's been like almost 10 years because Israel won't let them even fish for their own food and like produce their own economy. Israel is allowed to do it, but they're not allowed to do it. It's fucking crazy. Like, I hate it. Let's see. Darius says, normally these governments declare war on abstract concepts like drugs or terror, but this one is literally declaring war on fishermen. I know. And Trump is not allowed to legally declare war. Congress has to declare war. So there is no, like, war happening. It's basically like, it's not even, he's trying to enact war tactics and take action that would be allowed in wartime and do it now by saying that there is a war on cartels and there is a war on drugs. But Congress would have to say that there is war for that to be legal. Legal, theoretically. Darius says he's gonna use SEAL Team 6 to take out actual SEALs next. Bruh, I fucking know. Bruh. It pisses me off, man. And the more I listen, the more frustrated I get, and I'm just like, are you fucking serious? I hate this shit, but such is life. Such is life. It drives me insane. And we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I think some stuff is going to the Supreme Court soon, so we're gonna have to see all the different cases that they deal with. But yeah, Darius says, right, it's bedtime, comrade. Everyone, brush your teeth. Tomorrow's another great day. Hopefully. Hopefully. We'll have to see. Hmm. Bye. I'll hang out here for another minute or two. And then I got to go, babes. I'm eating candy instead of like eating actual food. So give me nom noms. I think I'm gonna make chicken. We've been talking a lot about like random shit today. We had trolls come in. We had fucking literally so much crazy shit. It's been a good time. I've been enjoying this today. Alrighty-os. What else? What else before I go? Is it time? Is it time for me to go? I needed glucose. I need sugar, y'all. Okay. I guess it's time for me to go. I guess it's time for me to go now. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Our 2 hours has elapsed. So that means that I guess I'll be back tomorrow with some more fun stuff. I think Andrew will be on for a stream. Oh my god. Can you tell I'm tired and hungry? Words are going to be harder for me the longer I stand here and just talk to you guys. So, we are going to do some interesting thing maybe this week later. It might be on Saturday. It might be on Friday. I don't know yet. I really want a fucking game on Saturday, so we're going to do that. But tomorrow will be another day. So, maybe we'll have more news. Maybe we won't. Hopefully it's not busy. Hopefully we don't have a ton of news to talk about. I'll make my life better. Make me, my soul happy. Because that means things are better. But whatever. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you tomorrow. So sleep well, stay safe, stay alive, and toots.